Let us see. Okay, we are live. Gonna share my screen there. Let us see. Okay, we are live. Of course. Boom, bam, bam. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Just give me a second. I am struggling today, but it's gonna be a good day. No, where are you guys? There. And we're about to record. Who's Andrew? You don't know Andrew. Okay. Recording.
I just wanna be free with my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. 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 Can't you see? I just wanna be free.
Okay. Another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Camille Smith, and we have a full house today. And I'm just gonna have my lovely guests pop back in with their videos and all that good stuff. And it is episode 78. And I'm feeling good, feeling great. I'm excited. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff today. And I wanna do a shout out because I'm not sure if anyone knows, but we're bringing it back to the elementary, like grade 7 again. Jeez, grade 7 again. And Joesph, before grade 7.
Yeah, we went to
Corvette. Oh,
how dare you, yo? How dare you? Yo, I was like the fastest one in that school. It's all good. And the most troublemaker out of that.
At least you're saying you're the troublemaker and not me.
It's all good.
Oh, man. And Shana and Cinder, I met you guys in grade 7. And Cinder would kick my Ross in balls.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. I didn't used to fight girls back then.
No.
I think you were fighting. All right. Yeah, that's probably.
Oh, man. When it came to that, I was like, yo. I thought it was good at a point,
Yeah. You were fast. Yes. Very. I think you were the fastest in the school, or one of the fastest.
There was a story where I was supposed to do track and field and stuff, but I just want to give everyone a shout out that is on this platform today. And also, Joesph, we had to give a moment of silence for Brandon because he was one of the people that be like, that one hit hard.
Yeah.
Even like my mom and my aunt passed as well. But Brandon, when that happened, I was like, it hit me hard. So I just want to take a moment to, recognize him.
A real people's person.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he would actually go and talk to anyone in the room.
Yeah,
person in the room. And, you know what I'm saying? So give it up to him.
Yes. Well, I gotta. It's not right unless I do my and I have it. Don't worry, I have it. We got to do the shout out, you know. Whoop 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 whoop.
Wait, oh, you really had it. Like you actually had a sound effect. I'm like, oh, who's she gonna shout out now? No, it's just a sound effect.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, so I just wanna, you know, I wanted to do that salute before we started and everything. And since we're, you know, bringing it back to Gordon Ridge, oh my gosh, oh my gee. Even though to the folks, I didn't live at Gordon Ridge, but it was like I lived there because I was always there.
Every kid said that. Every kid said that who didn't live there. Every kid said that.
I was like, I'm here most of the time. Even like a couple years ago, like I do know some people that are still there. Like I was still chilling there. So I'm it's crazy that we're about to talk about, you know, that area and just how we're able to, you know, transition to other areas. But before we start with that, I just want everyone to know who y'all are without being troublemakers or mashing up people on the basketball court. Who wants to go first? Shana already was here, so Shana can't go first.
Word. I'll go first.
All right, bet.
Yeah. So I'm just like we mentioned, me and Camille, Cinder, Shana, we go back. But yeah, I guess I could call myself an advocate or but I consider myself an advocate. I advocate for just the liberation of people, black women. I don't necessarily, like, you know, just go in a specific thing, but primarily it's for my people and stuff like that. I've pretty much been like this from I was like young, going back to grade school. Like I said, I was a bit of a troublemaker. I didn't really take likely to authority, especially authority that was unjust and not fair and stuff like that. So I would always question things like that. And when you question things, you open your mouth, you're vocal. They don't take lightly to that. And yeah, so they would send me home. They would suspend me and stuff. So yeah, I was in the news a few years ago. I won a human rights case against the Durham Regional Police. It was a racial profiling case. And really, really, truly, it wasn't about me. It was just about bringing awareness and just trying to make some changes in the police culture, in the Durham Regional Police culture, which has not changed in the past 50 to 60, 50 to 60 years, policing and stuff. And although I won, they appealed it, and they are not willing to take formal acknowledgement about it. So we're in the last stages of it and stuff like that. And yeah, a little bit about myself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that. And Cinder, you're next.
Yeah, well, I kind of, for myself, I have, like, I mean, you guys know me, obviously. You guys remember, maybe, Camille, I'm not sure if you remember my older brother, Kevin, but these guys definitely remember him. And he instilled certain things in me that were just, it's just there to this day, right? And so anything that's, it transformed into anything that is unjust, I have to argue it. And so like Joe, I would take on anything, particularly for my own people. I mean, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. But particularly for our people, because the unjust seems to be living in our backyard constantly. So like Joe, I was suspended a couple of times from my school for calling them out. Probably in a lot, in a much more a much less political, politically appropriate way. And it got me suspended, but it also kind of put that battery in my back to recognize, wait a second, okay, when you push back, they push back too. So why would they push back unless it's something that they either know is wrong, right? And trying to hide, and a voice like mine, they feel they need to silence. Not really necessary. They should have been like, oh, this is so cute. But obviously they found it as a threat. This is why you have to silence it quickly, right? Even a child's voice goes a long way. So anyways, that carried me into, going right into high school, going right into my social work, right into my activism. Sometimes I'm not sure if I should use the word activism, because I'm not as active like, some of the people that we see out there who have these hefty platforms that they've really worked hard to develop and build. However, I like to think in my own way, I do my part. So, my part is always of longevity, such as, getting into real estate, getting into finances, learning how we can build our own financial institutions so we can actually really win this race, not just asking for activities within the communities we are forced into, but creating activities in the communities that we are building, not what we were kind of given.
I love that. And especially when you mention like financial literacy and getting into real estate and stuff, because we're kind of behind with that. And it's not the fault of it's not the fault of our parents, but, and I'm pretty sure Shana and I have talked about that. Like, our parents or the generations before didn't have the opportunities that we do. So for us to, push through to talk about like real estate and financial literacy, it's really lovely. And I'm glad you're like trickling into that to be able to discuss it with the community. And Shana, I know you want to say something too. Tell the folks who you is again.
Thanks for Camille for having me back. Once again, my name is Shana Barros. I'm the founder of Project X Financial. Basically, it's a financial company that deals with different financial products and services, as well as, Camille, like I said the last time, the new podcast is coming out, Family Edition, Counting Pennies. Look out for that starting in July. Can't wait.
Hold on. Don't worry, I got the soundboard for you. I'm just multitasking.
Sound effects.
I'll do mine first before I get it. The struggle's real. There. Boom, 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 boom. I'm back. Let me send it to you just in case, so I know how to get to it quicker.
Okay.
But so Cinder and Joesph, basically you realize that you're inspired for these things because, well, I'm pretty sure, now that you guys both said that you've been suspended, I feel like I was suspended as well, but I think
At least once?
I mean, I got suspended once, but it was not to
In school?
Not Corvette.
But in
King.
school suspension or outside?
Yeah, King. I got suspended.
Oh, King. Oh, high school.
Ooh, in King?
Now you're pushing it.
You broke out in high school.
You're messing with your future and everything.
It's only acceptable in middle school.
Yeah, I
Only
mean,
in middle school?
Only in middle school.
It was in school, so it didn't really affect. So for the kids that are out there listening, do not get suspended in high
No,
school. Okay?
word.
Try not to get suspended
Any
in
school,
middle school either,
anything, junior
but
high.
right? But if you're trying to prove a point, um, try to like, form a group or something and have your parents like going to the teacher parent meetings and stuff so they would be able to advocate for you.
well,
But
just remember, it was this the civil rights movement. A part of their tactics was getting arrested intentionally.
Word.
That was actually a part of their tactics. It wasn't just a mean thing. It was actually they're using their enemies' power against them. So just remember that. And they always had bail money, even though their bail money was 3 times the normal amount of their white counterparts. They were prepared. So the idea is I wouldn't even necessarily say don't get suspended. I would say be prepared, right? Because you don't know what's gonna get you suspended, right? Make sure what you're doing, you're walking in justness, not creating injustice, right?
Word.
that
Trying
is
to
true.
make a point. Hmm.
That is very, very true. I'm glad you clarified that because that's really important. If you have a purpose with what you're trying to prove, then by all means, and have a plan and have a structure, and you'll be able to work out. Um, what about you, Jojo? What inspired you before the situation in Durham and middle school? Like when you're
Mhm.
turning into a young man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just like from I was a kid. Before moving to Gordon Ridge. Me and my brother, we moved to Gordon Ridge. I might have been 10
Yeah.
years old, and my brother might have been 11 years old. We lived in a neighborhood um that was also they would considered what lower housing, dysfunctional, um, drugs, you know, drugs ran through there and stuff like that. But
The ghetto.
the ghetto, right? The ghetto,
Ghetto.
right?
In
So
Canada here, we don't like to say that for some odd reason.
exactly, right? But I but what I saw in the ghetto, I saw a lot of good in the ghetto. I saw people who are actually were like, they're going about their daily lives and trying to better themselves and their families. 'Cause,
Mhm.
that's typically that's how things would be for a lot of immigrant families. You come here, you don't have much, you got to work with what you have. You find jobs. Sometimes we got to take up multiple jobs just to make ends meet. And we really just want the best for our families, and we really want to move on. Like, get out of lower housing, metro housing, stuff like that. And there will be the few bad apples they would call them and stuff. But like, what can you do when you don't have you don't have the proper resources, and your back's against the wall and stuff like that. So all these type of things just trickle down, to all this stuff. But what used to bother me when I was a child, see I would see police come into our neighborhoods.
Mhm.
They would like fundamentally like violate a lot of people's rights, like people who were not breaking the law. Like I said, just going about their daily affairs, minding their own business. So to the point where like I had my own experience when I was 7 years old. I remember I was 7 years old,
Mhm.
and a situation happened in the neighborhood where it was some kind of like there was like a bottle incident when someone threw a bottle over in someone's backyard or something, and it hit somebody. And I believe the person who threw the bottle didn't intend to hit the person. I heard it was a dare or something, but I was not hanging out with this person. The person who was like much older than me. Long story short, the police got called. The police came in. Toronto police came into our neighborhood. They wanted to know who this person was. The person was much older than us and stuff. So, and listen, like I had no business giving up this person to these police. Like the police had their own, you know,
Agenda.
no, they have their own no snitching and blue wall silence, right? So when one of the police officers asked me if I knew who threw the bottle, at the time I didn't know who threw the bottle. I told him like I don't know, and the cop, I don't know if he was from like England or something or Australia. He had an accent, was a white man. He grabbed me by my arm. He grabbed me by my arm, like with two hands, and he's like, "You fuck," excuse my language. He called me an effing bastard, and he pushed me right in front of my friend. And that just like that really opened my eyes, and my mind was just like, "Yo, this is like this is like messed up." But right from there, that kind of like sparked my thing for advocacy, I guess.
Whew. Jeez.
And that was at 7 years old.
7 years old, and
think-
my mother came like 10 seconds after.
Mm-hmm.
I explained to my mother, and my mother just slapped me. She's gave me like a soft slap on my arm. She's like, you know, like where were you like for the past 30 minutes? You know, because I was supposed to come in and you know, get my dinner, get my good food and stuff. But she didn't understand it. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh no, go ahead. Tay.
No, I just had a question for Joe because I never heard this story before until today. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, as you reflect at the 7-year-old you, if you were
Yeah.
in a different community, do you feel like the police would have treated you differently?
Perhaps, but like that wouldn't change like my skin color. Like I don't know. Like I tend not to look at things on I try not to look at things on a racial basis.
Mhm.
Like I try to turn my head the other way when it comes to that. But like, yo, we see the patterns. We see like everything's being captured in real time, right? Like all the things, like you know, the stuff with George Floyd, the issues we've had here, the Fonte Miller, um, there were situations out in Peel where the police had unjustly used excessive force, even shot and killed, you know, regular civilians, and people act so surprised that like you know this happens. Like yo, this been happening. Like you just don't know it. It's just some of this stuff's being captured on film, or it's being passed on through word of mouth, right? It's usually sometimes it's someone who experienced it or someone that knew someone that experienced it. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, maybe if I was in another neighborhood, like of a different class, I guess. But I think the police had their own attitudes, their own implicit and explicit attitudes when they come into these small compact areas. You know, the ghettos and stuff, and they come with their preconceived notions about our people. So
Cinder, what about your experience?
I just wanted to real quick just piggyback on what Joe's saying for just a second. One, our parents, a lot of the times, I mean, most of us in Canada, anyways, they're West Indian. I'm talking about Black descendants, anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then immigrants, as you know, as a whole, the parents them are like, look, keep your head down and work hard. That's all they see, right? Tunnel vision. They grew up in their own countries, which their circumstances, sometimes depending on where they are. I mean, some of them are living in we're living in such desolate. They're like, man, this is a walk in the park in their eyes, right? So they, because of the nature of how our oppression is delivered here, it's hard to identify and hard to see for them, because for somebody who say grew up in Iraq or one of the, or like Syria or one of these war-stricken countries, they're like, well, a RPG ain't coming through your window, okay? And terrorism is not at your front door telling you that you no longer have this business. We're just going to occupy it, and you can't call a cop because they're part of the organization as well, right? That's different than the covert racism that is expressed, especially here in Canada. To me, covert racism is actually the most, it has the highest rate of longevity in maintaining the political posture, right? Maintaining the monopoly of the people. Covert racism is the poison that lasts the longest, right? How long do you openly beat someone until they start swinging back? And then when people witness the beating, how long do they take before they start to rebel? But if you can't see the beating and it's being put in your soup and you're drinking the soup every day, you're the only one who looks erratic the moment you speak out against it. But people don't realize that it's been put in all of their soup, right? Just dose after dose after dose. Before you know it, you got a bunch of poisoned people who can't see who their true enemy is, right? So that I was making reference to that because my mom was the same thing, right? My mom could not point out that there is an actual systematic issue in what is happening, right? She just wanted to go to work and come home quickly, right? Don't look left, don't look right. So she couldn't see the homeless people sleeping in the staircase and all that because she never took the stairs. She always took the elevator, right? The physical hallway has to do with, or in the elevator has to do with the individual alcoholic who could not make it to the bathroom, right? But what is he doing living here? That alcoholic doesn't have money and he's functioning and all of that stuff as a functioning alcoholic daily. He's actually an alcoholic who no one's addressing the problem. That is a system issue. And for her though, she sees the alcoholic, right? And so she's just gonna avoid him. So it's tunnel vision. When we as kids though, we're seeing it all because we got time, right? We don't have other mouths to feed. We have what's going on around us. And it's like a baby absorbing information. We're just like, oh yeah, okay, that's how that goes. Yeah, that does happen. And yeah, that does happen. And yeah, now the police are, like how Joe's getting draped up. The police thought my brother had a gun and came into my apartment with me as a child. There, no one was home. That is illegal. You're not supposed to do that. And it was a woman cop. She came and pushed right past me, went straight to our bedroom, lift up our mattress and all kinds of stuff. I said, yo, you can't be in here, especially with your shoes on. In my mind, I'm like, my mom's gonna see the shoe marks on the floor. What are you doing? Right? We had carpet in there. She pushed past me, lift up the mattress, and that was that. And she didn't find nothing. I knew what she was looking for. She didn't find it. And she's gone. Right? No type of conversation. No, is your mom home? No, nothing. This is the type of unjust things that happen in those type of communities. Right? So, I just want to reference that in terms of Joe's mom, because a lot of the times they like to blame it on the parents, but you have to understand how the system has created it where they have to be tunnel vision just to make sure the rent is paid. Because if they start paying attention to too many things, that means that they got to work late again. You know what I mean? Too many different things. So we have to just absorb all the information as children, and you hope that it manifests into something that we can use or get used. It's one or the other, right? So, growing up in these type of conditions, the choices are plenty, yes, but they're not obvious.
It's true.
And so you might think you're moving in the right direction on one hand because, this guy here, he is popular, he got money, he resolves all your current issues. All you got to do is lay down with him. And it's not uncool to lay down with him, That's the safety of it all. Oh, you're pregnant. Okay, well, where he at now? But there was no one to fix that, to heal those wounds that even put you into his arms, Speaking to a white social worker means you could go into the system.
Easy.
I was taken away shortly. My brother was taken for a small time because of something, because why my mom was alone and desperate and she made a mistake, right? And the lady promised to help, but where was the help? So, these are I'm not sure if I'm even answering your question,
No,
Camille.
no, no, yeah,
Because
no, no, it's
Joe kind of
fine. Like,
sparked a few thoughts, you know what I mean?
She
Like
was
he
hitting it
really,
on the head, yo.
yeah,
Getting it.
like to me, this is it's dangerous times, because you see, when the picture is not clear, we don't even know if we're at war, and we don't know what we're at war with.
hmm
How are we supposed to actually win? Uh, when the marginalized people are still in the same cesspool we were in before. It's the same stuff. So how do we have to making a change is going to be a very difficult process.
hmm
And then on top of that, convincing ourselves that we're worthy of that change.
That's what it is. I know growing up in Gordon Ridge when I was younger, I didn't realize that it wasn't unsafe or that it wasn't friendly, because the community was so great. The kids were great. The parents were friendly, right? It wasn't until I was 8 years old and I was walking home with one of my friend's parents, and she didn't know any better, a white woman. She looked down at me and she asked me, "Aren't you scared to live there?" Here I'm 8 years old. I never thought that my home, my community was a scary place to live. And she put this idea and thought that I should be frightful to live there, that she would be afraid to send her child to my house or to this community. And it kind of changes your thoughts, especially when you're a kid, because now a place that was safe, now you realize that there's danger. And I think that is like what you said to me, it's absorbing. As a child, you're absorbing all this information. And then you're at home and you're watching the news, and then there's another body found in the staircase. There's a rapist. There's a fire. All these things happening constantly around us. And I don't know if my childhood mind just kind of blocked a lot of that stuff out. But a lot of it comes back to me now as an adult. I'm remembering now that I didn't even realize as a child.
that that is true. Even though I feel like I'm the more someone's gonna say it, sheltered individual here. Um, Even though I didn't live in Gordon Ridge, I did live in Flemo. If anyone knows Flemo,
Word.
Saying it like it's lighter. Like
I lived in Flemo when it was like, I think we got out before it got bad. It's funny, like every area I lived in when I was younger, like mind you, I lived in Galloway. I lived in Flemo. I'm close to Galloway, but I'm not a GUH. I refuse to call myself that. But I like what you said, Shayna. I kind of blocked out the things that were happening. Like I think my parents made sure that I didn't get mixed up in anything to be like in trouble, or even my brother. Like we never, I mean, I'm the black sheep in the family, but it was never in that area where we got into, well, I got into trouble or anything. It was, like I said, high school, suspended and all that stuff. But it's crazy how you say that there's never a time when I felt unsafe, because I knew that like my parents would not put me in like a situation like that to be unsafe. And if there was a time when we did think that it was unsafe, we would move. Um, but also I've blocked out a lot of things in my childhood. I did see like, the cops coming around ever so often, but I think something that me and my brother were lucky is that we kind of had the resources. Like Flemo had a girls and boys club, so we'd go camping or the summer camps and stuff to make sure that we had like a normal life. And I don't want it to seem like, I'm so privileged, but were you guys able to experience that to kind of feel like you had a normal life? Cinder, because you're muted.
Of course we did. We had the rec center.
Yes.
Mommy.
Yes. Yes.
That was 20 Gordon Ridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was where we were born and raised on a playground where we spent most of our days, right?
Word.
I mean, the thing is about that place is that it was kids raising us, right?
True.
It wasn't.
Very true.
We didn't have a lot of resources and all that. It was basically my brother and them age, Malini and Natalie and these people who
16-year-olds.
they were 16. They just had to be that big, right? And they were that big to us. They were that grown to us. But I mean, the things that they were protecting us from, some of the stuff we only just found out last year, some of the things that they were protecting us from. Remember when we went to Malini's barbecue?
Yeah.
Some of this stuff, I didn't know they were having raids and stuff. They used to keep us in the rec center, not tell us nothing. Like, I used to just wonder why the heck they have us in the gym playing snakes and ladders again. Can we go outside? It's summer, But it was because these things were happening. And they used to take a lot of static for us. And they were kids. I mean, Malini and them are not that much older than us, right? So we did have that. But again, the system, pressure cooked these guys into growing up and taking care of us, Kids raising kids is a real thing.
Kids raising kids. True. And Jojo, how was your experience?
Yeah, my experience was quite similar to Cinder's. Like I said, me and my brother, we didn't move to Gordon Ridge till we were like 10, 11 years old. But prior to that, in Cataract, we had a center, but was the center there at all times? Like, like when things hit the fan, we're having issues in the house. We grew up with older brothers that had like 10 years, 11 years on us. They had, I feel like they had the good intentions, but they didn't know any better, and we were kind of like, we were absorbing what they were doing, and they were caught up in a certain lifestyle themselves. But at the same time, they did tell us like, yo, don't follow them and stuff like that and stuff like that. But like once we got to Gordon Ridge was like a whole other. It was like Gordon Ridge was like on a different level. Gordon Ridge was like it was more community for us. Not only that, it was just like us showing how like we got to work with what we got as kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like our parents are going out to work, they're making a living, but like, yo, we we could pick up on, the staff at the rec center. They're showing us certain skills. They're showing us how to, resolve conflict and just go about our daily lives and stuff like that. And
so you had like positive mentorship.
The mentorship, yeah. It takes a community to raise a child, right? Like really. So yeah, that was the dope part about it. When we moved to Gordon Ridge, it was just like, but at the same time, like, yo, there was good times, bad times, but we try to make the best out of it.
Nice. And at what age for all of you, did you think like, yo, I have to pivot from Gordon Ridge and I'm just gonna say pivot. I had to pivot from Gordon Ridge and stuff. Who wants to go first?
Okay,
Go ahead.
I would have to go first because we pivot like
Early.
that we pivot early. When we got there, it was like short lived.
Mm-hmm.
Like when me and my brother got there, our older brothers wasn't with us. They didn't come with us there. we went there to go in as a result of our older brothers
History.
targeting them and stuff like that. They were caught up in the judicial system, and Metro Housing was on us. And pretty much my mom just wanted to go to another neighborhood and stuff like that. So she went out there, and it was just me, my mom, my brother, and then like my other brother came back, and he like my brother, he was a very smart guy, very intelligent guy. He actually went to like an art school. He was athletic. He was in his academics, but he just chose the wrong direction and stuff like that. And again, he showed up on the police's radar and stuff like that. And what I noticed was that these areas, which like it could be a gem for a lot of people. Like we could pick up on a lot of things, pick up a lot of life skills and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just and carry with it. But it could also be a curse because these are the places where these police with these attitudes about race, about Black people, anti-Black racism, like they're coming into that line of work, and they are surveilling Black people how many times more than other people who are caught up in an element of crime or small time crime. I don't know, whatever. Or not even doing anything at all. You know what I'm saying? So what we realized that like, yo, we gotta get out of here to like, we realized it was like a trap. Like it was a gift and a curse because they know where these people who are they're not, they don't come from a certain background, an economic background, and then we're at the at the bottom of the totem pole in their eyes and stuff like that, and we just become targets. So my mom was just like, yo, we got to get out of Metro Housing, man. This is like, it's getting ridiculous. So we got out of there. My mom saved a lot. She put like, my mother had emphasis on the right things. My mom wasn't into like buying brand new furniture and keeping her kids in the latest stuff and all that. Like our brothers used to, go and get us some of that stuff, our sister and stuff. So that was the good part. That was the advantage of having older brothers and sisters and stuff. But my mom had a plan where she was saving, even taking up, second jobs and stuff, and just sacrificing her time, leaving her children alone a lot of the times and stuff. And she's like, yo, that was it. There was no looking back.
So saving.
Yeah, saving primarily. Yeah.
Nice. And then you guys moved out and went to.
We moved out. We went to another another area, but it was beside like another metro, like a lower housing. But we weren't like in lower housing. Like we were renting at another place, and we stayed there for like probably like a couple years, and then we ended up moving to Pickering. My mother and brother bought a house. They joined together, and we're like, yo, let's buy a house and have equity in a house and stuff like that, and let's just start from there.
Nice. And that was around, I'm gonna guess, like in the 2000s, because
2000s, yeah, like 2001 and stuff. Yeah.
Prices then.
Yeah, prices then. Yeah, we got a house. It was like a 4-bedroom semi detached, and it was like an N unit. It was like a 4-bedroom. The basement wasn't finished, and it was a spacious house, and at the time it was about like, was it $212,000 we got it for? Yeah. And
just trying to hold it in. Sorry.
Yeah. And
I'm holding it in.
Real talk. And then we ended up staying there for like 13 years. And then,
nice.
It was my mom's first house. So we're like, yo, let's, she wanted to sell it eventually and make her profit out of it. So we ended up selling it. It wasn't what she wanted, what she would like, but we considered that we had actually put it on the market a couple times, and we didn't make the upgrades that we should have made the upgrades, but we eventually made the upgrades, and we sold it for like 360,000, like in 2012 and stuff. And yeah,
That's still capital gains. Woo!
yeah,
How
it
much is
is.
it
Yeah.
now? How much is that house now? Like
Yo,
one
so
point.
the person that bought the house from us, she actually ended up selling it like a year and a half ago. She sold the house, so she bought the house from us for like $360,000.
Yeah.
House close to like, I heard it was $600,000. She sold the house, a little over $600,000. Yeah, it was a bidding. Someone bid it
Nice.
for her house, and she's
Nice.
living in Nova Scotia now, so she's good.
Jeez,
Just live off that money.
Word.
right. And Shane, do you want to go next?
No, me? Okay. I think when I first came to Gordon Ridge, my mom was grateful for the opportunity to have a place of her own, because before that, I remember I was like 3, 4, we were renting a basement apartment, sharing a lot of the facilities with the person upstairs. It was a family friend. So this was her first place, her home, her independence. Even from coming back from Jamaica, she was always with a lot of roommates. So she was grateful and she was proud, and she felt like this was a huge accomplishment. It took her a while to leave Gordon Ridge. I was 17 when she finally saved enough or felt comfortable enough that she wanted to rent outside. I guess the rent was probably getting closer to market rate. And what's the point of paying market rate and living in that condition? So at 17, we moved out. One of the conversations that we had later on in life, after I purchased my first home, was why didn't she buy a house? She was working full time. She had went to school, graduated. She was full-time PSW. Her life was going in a positive direction. And I think sometimes when you're living in that system, you get scared. You think that, I'm living here, the rent is low, I can afford it. Even if something happens to me tomorrow, I still have a little bit in the bank to afford the bills. But her leaving there to go someplace else, she got scared. She said to me, what if something happened? And I thought she lost the opportunity because I started working at 15. We could have had a conversation. We could have started buying properties earlier. But it's those missed opportunities that sometimes we're not taught or we just don't know.
And from what I remember, our parents, especially our Caribbean parents, love to keep things to themselves.
Yeah.
And not have that money talk discussion to see. They think like, no, this is grown people's business. Left it, and we'll deal with it. And there could have been times when we could have worked as a family. Like Jojo, you said your family worked together as a family and got a house. So imagine if we, had those discussions when we were at the age when we could understand and have a job and things, and just imagine how things could be and stuff. Cinder, what about your experience, pivoting?
I knew that it was time to go. Once everybody else started leaving, it came to a point where I felt very alone in Gordon Ridge, and I loved Gordon Ridge. I think everybody knows that by now. I wrote a whole book on living there. I had this, and I knew I was institutionalized like the rest of us, right? But I started to discover that I was actually institutionalizing it because I actually had a passionate love for this place that wasn't always giving back to me, right, in the same way. But I didn't realize that until later on. I think too much pain, too much. You couldn't just laugh it off like how you could as a kid, right? You couldn't just call it just an experience because those experiences started to catch up with me later on. And I was very uncomfortable, especially since I was aware, or I started to become aware of unjust actions. My brother put me on to, Malcolm and Martin very early, right? Very, very early. I mean, he's part of why I got suspended, particularly that first time there, because he made me watch Amistad. And then I went to school.
You watched Amistad and went back to school?
Yeah, I went back to school and they didn't have it was February and they didn't have nothing to do with Black History Month. And so I told the principal, to her face that she's a racist, which, yeah, that's what I felt at the time. And Mr. Watkins was like, Cinder, you can't say it like that, but I get all of this stuff. And I'm just like, I said it valiantly, like, I did something, bam, suspended, just so. But those times I was able, like, even though, I got suspended and whatnot, I still had this level of support. But eventually, Jojo and them leave, Shamar leaves. I don't see Shana as much anymore. Javon leaves. You know what I mean? It was really down to Denise, and Denise kind of had her own friends. Like, we all started going to different high schools and all, those things start to happen. So probably when I was about 17 and deciding what I'm going to do with my life, things started to unravel a little bit in terms of my passion for this place. Piss in the hallway started to really stink. It wasn't the same anymore. That ammonia started to get into my nostrils, So yeah, I would say around 17. I didn't leave until I was basically almost 19. But yeah, that last quarter of life really started to get, the pressure started to, the neighborhood wasn't the same.
Yeah, especially like if everyone's leaving and stuff, you're like, who's gonna walk to Price Choppers with me? Even Price Choppers changed.
Yeah, it turned into this place. It turned into this weird place that, like, you can't even get. All of a sudden, the 35-cent Swiss up turns into 50 cents. We don't got it. I don't got it. So it was that. It was just the change. The rec had changed. We weren't going to Canada's Wonderland. To answer what you had asked earlier, yeah, we used to go to Canada's Wonderland
every year.
Ontario Place, and we used to go to Wild Water Kingdom. The summer times were lit in Gornridge.
Loma, Sky Dome.
We used to do it all.
Yes, Sky Dome. It's Sky Dome.
All of that. You guys remember what's that called again? Spring Fling?
Yeah, the Sky Dome, Spring Fling. With the amusement. Yeah, the rides and stuff.
It wasn't that we had it like that. It's that the people around us were grinding for us, and then they had to leave. And that's what happens, right? So if you don't recognize a change, the universe will force it to happen around you. And that's when you start to get uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. What advice would you give individuals that are in like metro housing and like, yeah, what advice would you give them? And I was like, to the ones, okay, wait, let me rephrase this. To the ones that are uncomfortable, are starting to get uncomfortable and seeing that a change needs to happen, how are they able to pivot and make a change?
Go ahead, guys. I can go.
Go.
Yeah.
My thing would just be mindset. Because I think for a lot of our parents, they probably could have done it a little bit earlier. Because if they were just a little bit nervous, they were scared, they didn't have the mindset, they didn't think that it was possible. And I think a lot of times when you live in a system that you think supports you or it's a security net to you, you're afraid to step out of it. Because what if something happens? I don't have this low income generated place that I can raise my kids, that I've already built something.
Word.
I have another question for that after. Cinder, I want you to go because I just thought something else.
If we are able to see that the revolution will be televised this time,
I was
right?
thinking that in my head. I wasn't sure if you're going to say it.
The cameras are rolling and we see that they don't care. They don't care about our plight. They don't care about our complaint. The only time they act like they care is when they can be in the position of charity. That's when we're allowed to talk about our plight, because it has to be, please, 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 can I have a piece of bread and fish? Never, the moment we want to teach ourselves to start to fish, you'll see the political process go ahead and position themselves, right? And they do it aggressively. So with that in mind, we need to get over the little stuff, right? We need to get over the small things. And what does anti-Black racism mean? When in our workplaces and stuff, what, to make us feel better? They still think it. They still think that way, right? There's no racism in Canada, and Canada, you know, we're all here. We'll see when we actually start really, we go ahead and come up with our own financial institution. Some Black people with some real significant money say, okay, this is the Black Bank of Canada. We will see the political posture of that, and we will see the political posture go ahead and enter in every which way possible, right, to stop these things until they get desperate, and all of a sudden you hear the guns start ringing off, right? There's nothing to be said, or there's no concern about a people who ask you for something. There's a concern when the people don't have to ask you for anything. Now you are a threat. So I say that to say, be prepared that if you're going to push back, which you should, if you expect to survive this and expect your kids and their kids to survive this, but understand the moment you push back, they will start to push back on you. And what does pushback mean? It just means do better, right? It means, come on, let's go ahead and invest in these properties. It means let's go ahead and invest in our own Black business, right? And I say Black specifically because every other minority group or immigrant group has figured it out already.
Word.
And it's not that we don't know, we were tricked into not knowing. We knew before everybody else. We knew before everybody else. It's our blueprint. It's our blueprint that got snatched up and stolen, right? And our probably our own slip-ups, because you let the enemy can't just walk in. Once again, they have to come covertly to win that war, because you ain't gonna hit me in my face and get away with it, right? But you're gonna pat me on my back and put a note on my back, and I'm the only one who doesn't know it's there. And unfortunately, my brothers and sisters have been convinced long enough to not tell me that somebody said, kick me on my back. You understand? Right. So make up your mind. Yes, this is your circumstance, but the circumstance is a moment in time. You have other moments. What are you going to do to prepare for when those other moments come? Are you going to miss it? Right? So you buy a house. Yes, it sucks that you have to pay this amount of money, but buy a house. I've done every single other hustle, and I'm telling you, nothing pays you like real estate.
Amen.
Nothing pays you like real estate. I am a Black girl, descendant of African Caribbean people who only knew a place called Gordon Range. I never lived anywhere else. I was born in that place. So the statistics speak for itself. However, and make it worse, I'm in Canada. Why it's worse is because they think there's no problem here, or they give the illusion that there's no problem here. So this is why you would die slow, right? Nothing to heal if there is no cuts. But the problem is in our veins. So we got to cleanse from the inside. Get into real estate, get into finances. Get into your education. You have to actually have a clear understanding of what your craft is. And you have to actually gather yourselves collectively and get out. They're okay with impressive Joe. They're okay with that. It's just enough, but let Joe do too much. You're gonna see them infiltrate on a plenty level. Joe, they haven't done enough to try and infiltrate on you already. When you start making too much noise, it's too much. You know what I mean? We have to make up our minds. These young people have a lot more opportunity than we did. So they get to start way earlier than we did. This Airbnb stuff, all of that stuff, man, get out of the city. Go to Lindsay. I'm telling you, they have houses that are condemned and whatnot, only sitting on land like 25 acres, 10 acres, this type of thing, for $150,000. Just go get it and pick up a hammer.
Word.
The moment you have an infrastructure on a piece of land, right? It doesn't count as a new build, it counts as a renovation. Fix it and then go sell it and make $100,000 in 3 months. And then you go ahead and flip it and you do that again. Or keep it and Airbnb it. We got to get over the pockets of what I had to get over Gordon Ridge. We had to divorce. We were in a very toxic relationship and I didn't know it until I was 17-ish. Right? That is what we have to do. Make up your mind about what it is you're going to do. There's too much opportunity to do it.
Very true. I'm glad that you were able to express that, because I'm pretty sure there are a couple people listening or watching and they're like, but I'm just comfortable where I am, and fear and comfortability is not gonna get us anywhere. It's not, and I know there's people that are paying some low rent. I know it, and it cheeses me, but it's okay. I won't bring it up today. But wouldn't you rather, instead of paying this low rent, be able to have generational wealth, have equity, be able to Airbnb and have real estate, so you're able to not even like we were able to get out and live in houses. Imagine anyone that like knows us, because I know there's a couple people that know us and they see that and they're like, yo, they got out. I wish I could get out. But you can. Like you said, Cinder, collectively, we can make it happen. But you also have to plan and prepare yourself, and you have to have that mindset to be able to get out. Without that, you will be stuck in the rat race. But I mean, there's 4 people on here that have seen things happen that you're able to get out of the rat race. And one of them was savings, right?
Right.
Georgia, yes.
Yeah, not like I'm sure that, like, there's gonna be people that hear us, and there's gonna be people who sort of like they'll pose the question or make this statement that we're kind of like oversimplifying it. How easy it is to go out and purchase a house. Like there's other things to consider, like, you know, we got property tax, we got light, we got water bill, you know what I'm saying? We got utilities,
Maintenance, trust me.
yeah, exactly, phone bill, and like, you know, the other bills and stuff. But those were the things my mother was considering before she actually went and purchased. Like, my mom could have went and bought a house, but she just didn't want to fall into the traps, into the snares and traps of like not knowing what like that was like what she was facing. So when, you know, my brother and her, 2 of my brothers, they came collectively together and they're like, yo, this is what we got to do. And then at an early age, like, yo, they told us like, yo, we got to go up and work and bring the bread in, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I think it's just like, yo, emphasis. Like we got to put it on the right emphasis. What's important. Not looking the part, but being the part. You know, yo, sometimes, yo, like we got to put away from like, you know, buying certain name brands and all that. Yo, we got to look at the long run. We got to look at the bigger picture, and stuff like that. But yeah, don't be ashamed to collectively come together and start something to the point like that will help you move on to be independent and grow generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to learn it quite late, like just like a few years ago. Like I made it my initiative to actually focus on debt buildup, right? Like payment, you know, make my debt quicker, for quicker results. And I saw a thing. It said Shana posted something on her IG story, and it was like a list on how to tackle debt. And she's like, she put like make a list from smallest to largest amount. But what I did, I did it backwards. I went from largest to smallest. But I eventually switched it up after realizing it wasn't doing me any justice, right? So yeah, just start from smallest, pay as much possible towards smallest debt, like she really emphasized, until it's paid off. And just read books, man. Read books on finances. Like, I finished this book, like typical books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Your Money, some real estate books, stuff like that.
And if you can't, if you don't like reading per se, then audiobooks.
Audiobooks, yeah. Audiobooks.
They have everything.
Real time.
Yes.
And not only that, sometimes you gotta hear someone else's story to help understand your story. Like there was a gentleman, there was the black, his name was Denim, his book somewhere in the house. And he was the first black man to own a radio station here in Canada, 93.5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he held it for a certain amount of years, and he actually ended up selling it for $30 million. But before he got to that level, he actually started out in real estate. And yeah, there was barriers that he faced, like racism and being shunned and being off. Like, hey, I would never sell to a black man. But he realized that quick. And what he did, he strategized. He would actually get like an ally, like a white friend, right? And he will make that person like dress, presentable, whatever. And he will come in like as a contractor. He will walk in the place, like do a walk around the house where there's a house showing. And the person that he brought in would act like they're the buyer, right? Like the non-black person, the white person. And the people would typically ask, yeah, who's buying a house? Oh, it's this guy? Okay, yeah, this is the house, this and that. But he's really, he's envisioning, all right, this is, these people don't want to sell me the house, but this is what I got to do in order to get food in the door. You know what I'm saying? And when I read his story, it's just like, it really helped me understand. Like, there's barriers before. We could work our way around it.
Absolutely. There are loopholes, there are loopholes.
Yeah.
Shana, I don't think I asked you the same question. Did you answer the question?
The advice coming out? Mindset. Yeah. We talked about it briefly.
Yeah. I forgot. Sorry, my bad. Yes, I think educating yourself, coming together collectively are great methods. Read.
Yeah.
We gotta fuel our mind with healthy stuff, right? It's funny, I was in a webinar the other day and I mentioned like your relationship with money, it's either gonna be healthy or it's gonna be like a toxic. And would you rather have a healthy relationship with money or toxic? And even though with the stock market and stuff, I have a love-hate with my money, but it's overall working, and I'm here for the long run. I can't say I have instant gratification as much because I know in the long run that I'm gonna have that wealth like for years to come or decades to come and all that stuff. But I wanted to ask all three of you. Shane, I don't know if I'm going to ask you because I think I asked you already. So, Jojo.
I would like to hear Shana's answer, though.
True. She'll go last then. What are 3 things you wish you knew about personal finance, like back in the day?
3 personal things I wish I knew. So, listen now. So, like I said, my mom was responsible with money when it came down to saving. What did she know other than saving? you know, like it, you know, the RSPs and stuff like that. But like, what they had a tax-free savings account where like you only get like 2% or whatever, just very little on your money. You know what I'm saying?
You're using it incorrectly.
It was.
Huh?
I remember when it was 3%, but
yo, man, it just seems so small. Sorry.
You have to invest the money that's in your TFSA to something else.
That's true, to
That's
invest
what
it.
you're supposed to do.
But like
Yeah.
but what I wish I knew on like other options too, like where I'm actually investing like, you know, a few $100s or more plus and put it in an index fund that returns at least 8%. And that it would grow to like 10 years. Over a little 70,000, 20 years, over $200,000, 30 years, over $500,000. Like, I don't know, like just you know, just being exposed to more options and stuff.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And real estate is it's paramount.
Mm-hmm. That's 2. You need one more.
Credit. I knew about credit before. I knew about credit before because I used to use I used to pay off. I got a credit card from like I was like 17 years old. And my sister would tell me like, yo, Joe, that's good. You're like, you know, you got a credit card. I was working too. And I would normally pay off my credit. Like I would use the credit card a few times. I'll pay off my credit card by the grace period stuff. Pay it off. And I did that for a couple of years. And I realized you're telling me like, yo, you could get a $500 increase, $1,000 increase. I took those increases, and then one time, I think I went off like, I kind of went off. One year I went off like probably a couple thousand over and stuff. And then I was stuck with paying the minimum payment and like something on top of that. And I learned it from earlier. It was like, yo, I can't do that. Like if I cannot pay my credit bill by the grace period, I should not be using a credit card. I should not get a credit card, stuff like that. And like till this day, like I went wrong with debt in a way, but I was able to maintain good credit. Not the best credit, but I learned about credit early. And I'm learning about it more now. So.
Nice. You got to work your way up, right?
Yeah.
And Cinder, what about you? 3 things you wish you knew about personal finance.
Sorry, the smaller part of me is in things she shouldn't be.
No.
Just this. Put it back. Thank you. No. One second.
Yeah. Well, Shana, you go then.
But she's back.
Oh, she's back. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So, actually, Joe hit it on the head there for me because the credit part, I didn't know. I really just didn't understand it, right? And I'm still educating myself on it and how it works. I wish I understood how real estate was. I told you I was in love with a place that never belonged to me in the first place, right? The thing is, I knew it was something. I just didn't know its power because my grandmother lived in a house, right? And when they came here in like the 60s, they bought their house for like $80,000 at where were they? At Eglinton West, you know, in the Italian area. So, you know, it was hard to know exactly what to do. But so yeah, I wish I knew about real estate. I wish I knew about credit and how to save better, like better methods on how to save. That was important, right? So yeah.
So 3 valuable ones. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Shana.
I feel like when I was younger, I wish I knew a lot of things that I know now, but I think like the top 3 would really be real estate, like really real estate. Like if I knew what I knew in 2014, I would have bought a house in 2015. Probably would have bought 2 houses if I knew what I know now. Life insurance, because I used to think it was a waste of money and it never made sense to me. And now I realize, damn, I wish I got it younger. I wish I had my cash value in it and I wish I had it up. But you know what? My mistakes are great because it gives me an opportunity to teach my kids better. And it gives their journey an opportunity to start earlier with money. And then the last thing, the one thing I wish I knew earlier was that there's no such thing as a good debt. Like I used to have this belief growing up that OSAP was like a good debt. Because, you know, at least you took out money for education. It's okay that you're taking your time slowly to pay it back. And then 15 years later, I'm still paying back this debt. Thank God I was able to pay it off in 2021 fully. But if I understood money when I was young, or if somebody just stopped me at 15 and said, hey, you got your first job, you know, school costs X amount, even if you save $100 a paycheck from now until then, you would have money set aside. But nobody stopped to talk to us about money. Yeah. We got jobs at 15 and 16 and, you know, we blew it on things that we wanted, things that our parents couldn't afford to buy us. But nobody stopped long enough to say, you know what, let me show you how to create a budget. Let me talk about what the future has in store with you, or what can you do with this money right now? And I wish I had that. So I'm doing this with my kids. My son just got his first part-time job. And now we're talking about the discussion because he's starting college in September. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to pay for that first year of college because nobody paid for me. But that second year, that third year, my expectation is that you're going to pay for this because I'm still covering all your other bills. The least you could do is start setting aside money. And we're going to go through, make a budget, but to set aside money for his future. So it gives him an opportunity to invest in himself.
And I have a suggestion because I just finished watching or listening to another podcast. Rennie, she has a new podcast. Oh no, I want to say it, but I can't remember right now. Like, don't go broke.
Okay.
I think I butchered it, but ready? Allow me right now. But her episode was about going to school and scholarships. So I definitely want to talk about that another time. But, you know, when it comes to our education, and, you know, we didn't know these things either. Taking like the scholarships, taking working and budgeting and stuff, or RESPs and all that stuff.
There's so many ones that go unclaimed every year.
Exactly. So those are definitely things you want to consider when it comes to having kids, especially, you know, parents that have. I mean, I think at any age right now, like as soon as you can start putting money into RESP, and once they're in a age group where they know what their skill sets or what they like to do, that's when you're like, okay, see these scholarships? Let's start searching these because we go get some free money because I don't know about y'all, but I love free money. I was very happy when I didn't have to pay back some of those bursaries. But yeah, that's something we want to consider, especially in school. Like I was an average student. I didn't think about the scholarships and stuff, but I digress. I love everyone's answer with you know, what they wish they knew, and definitely we're gonna, you know, push that to our community and stuff, especially the Gordon Ridge or the Flemo or the was it Chinguacousy? I can't even remember.
Bay Mills, Galloway.
What? Yeah, I get yeah. Okay, sorry, G-Way, Malvern, all of them. If you are in metro housing and you feel like there's not a way out, start looking in your community or in your friends or family that you can even trust, and find a way how you can get out. collectively, and not don't say like, oh, people are bad-minded and can't trust nobody. No, there has to be someone
Yeah,
that
there's gonna be that few, the couple, you know.
right?
Mhm.
There's got to be a couple that that will want to get out just as bad as you, and wants to do it in a positive way. So start doing that, because you see, price gone up,
Word,
gas,
word.
inflation, everything. So
Housing, rent.
right, like I I stress upon it. Like, I know it's gonna be hard, and you're just gonna have to find ways. Like, shucks, if it's gonna take living with two or three people like in one house, and then once you get that equity up, then you figure out other ways to get into other housing. Shucks, like, if Indians can do it, we can do it too. Like, like,
Indians, Arabs, Chinese, Jewish.
right? They don't mind being hitch up, small up themselves, and
Word,
and then branching out eventually. We
word.
just have to figure out a way.
just, just to piggyback on what you guys are saying, right?
Hmm.
Remember, like, we were conditioned to believe that we can't trust each other, right?
Yes.
No other
Yes.
culture that has happened to, right? That's why, as every other culture has suffered tremendous trauma. You know what I mean? Horrible. Even to this day, look at what's happening. Look what's happening in
The
to the
Ukraine,
Palestinians, right? Look,
Palestinians, oh, for real.
I mean, they're talking about the Ukraine, and it's horrible what's happening there.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but the Palestinians, yeah,
what's happening to the Palestinians today,
Arabs can
like
still
right
come
now,
come together, mobilize and
they
organize.
still mobilize, and the reason is because that element was not taken, right? The fathers were not taken from the home intentionally,
Right,
right? The families were not divided in this way, and intentionally broken languages, right?
right.
Broken religions. That wasn't intentionally and generationally done to them. And that's a significant difference. So when we call out, if they can do it, we can do it too. We were doing it before them. I keep saying this. So we're not, it's not a thing where it's like, well, that's them. No, that's us in actuality. And it's them reading our scrolls. You know what I'm saying? And our chapter books. That's all it is, right?
Right.
And so we have to remember that. Now, mind you, I'm telling you right now, there's certain stuff I'm not gonna go to my people for. If I want Chinese food, I'm gonna go to a Chinese man, right?
Word.
Like, I don't need to go to Tyrone and them for that. Like, that's the truth, right?
Word.
There's reasons why we do trades with other countries, right? There's
Right.
reasons why we have what is that called? It starts with a T. Tariffs, right? There's a reason why we do that.
Yeah.
So if these guys are better than us at doing this, like if this guy has the best kind of tile, okay, but we have the best kind of drywall and grout, it's okay to do trades with them.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
I'm not gonna forget about the fact that we are the grout people and we are the drywall people. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go and only look at him because he has tile and he has a little bit of drywall, but his drywall is not better than ours. You know what I mean? Let's spend our money with each other, but the other stuff that maybe we just don't have a handle on yet, that's all right. Go source it out. Why you think these people go and hire these little black girls to work in the hair store and all of that? They go and take them, they source out to bring back the almighty dollar to their people. That's what they do. It's not a thing where it's like, oh, they just work there. Do you see a bag of Chinese people in a black hair store? Or do you see one or two with a bag of black girls?
I hear you, Cindy. I'm opening that Chinese restaurant soon. I hear you.
Korean though. Korean.
All right.
Yeah.
It's Korean that really had their foot in the hair thing.
I'm sorry, I don't have any Korean connections, okay? I know I was there. I don't have any connections. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you guys feel what I'm saying? It's like, stop fully distrusting, like as if we're incapable of anything at all. I can't stand that. You know what I mean? That is just the dumbest thing. Shana, I'm a working person, you're a working person, right?
Yep.
So do we not both have jobs?
Yep.
Do we pay bills?
Yes, we do.
So why the heck can't we come together? Oh, because Shayna's Black, but she's working and she pays bills. All the attributes that you look for in the white guy or the other guy, Shayna already has it. So why am I going out there for that? You understand what I'm saying? Now,
Sure.
if I have to outsource to get someone to purchase the house because I realize these dummies can't see past my skin color, yeah, then I might have to hire somebody to go ahead and infiltrate on the thing
Yep.
to make sure that the
Right.
sale goes through. That's not new neither. Our ancestors been doing that forever too. How you think Harriet was able to go in and out of the place? Because she had to go in what? Disguise, undercover, 007. No different than what we can do today. I am not going to discredit Shayna for something that she has because of the color of her skin. But she might not have the big facility yet. So yeah, you might have to go to this guy for the facility for a time. But eventually, if Shayna and Cinder, now Joe, okay, and Camille all come together, all of a sudden now we can buy that facility. Now he have to borrow from us.
Yep.
That's how we need to look at it. We don't need to be good at everything.
No.
We just have to have a solid something and build on top of that.
100.
Word. Reach.
Loved it. Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Hold on.
Have it.
Wait. You found it?
It's good
I
timing.
had to have it close.
Yeah.
Loving this. I'm loving this. But Cinder, I know I'm late in the game. I know you're an author. Is there any
Word.
other
Word.
Beyond it.
Is there any other avenues that you're doing at the moment that you want to share? And also make sure you have to give me the contacts so I'm able to put in the description so people can get your book.
Life has sin.
Oh, let's do this right now as I speak. Hold on. Trying to edit at the same time. Boom. Thank you. Anything? And I'm multitasking at the same time. Is there any other avenues or things that you're doing at the moment to help the community?
Yeah, one of the things that I did was I stepped back a little bit, not all the way, well, probably all the way right now, but I'm not, that doesn't mean that I'm completely out of it. And that is sometimes it's overload seeing so much violence and seeing so much oppression. I mean, like, what happened in Buffalo, for example. It's sometimes like I know it happened. I know the details and I had to just close my laptop or just close my phone because you see the trauma can get you stuck sometimes, right? So one of the changes that I've made is I said, okay, how am I going to beat this for real, right? How do you actually be able to move forward? So one of the things, as I was talking about earlier, is investing in real estate. Because what it does is create jobs, right? It creates opportunity. But the other side is it also fuels other aspects of things that will reach out to our people. So for example, with Life as Sin, it's not over. I'm just building on it, right? So I have some children books coming from that, but also I have stage play that I'm working on right now, right? And that is going to create what? Jobs, and also while still telling a story and addressing the systematic issues that are very prevalent and existent today and will not go away tomorrow. With a march is just not enough. You got to march and at the same time be in the lawyer's office and at the same time be in the courtroom and at the same time be in the school and everywhere else, right? So I'm trying to diversify my reach right now. I wrote a book. Yes, it sounds nice. Oh, that's cool. I'm an author and all of that. But why did I write the book? It's about the story and how to make that story reach out to other people who have the same damn story. My story is not original. It's you know what I mean? It's the same story that's been told a million times over, maybe not by a Canadian Black girl, for example, right? However, it's relatable. And so we can tell the story that can reach and expand further into realms that maybe we didn't think about before. We can create jobs and also push for change, right? Having the arguments all the time. I mean, one of the things I stopped doing, I stopped arguing with white people. I just can't. I just don't have the energy to explain to them their history. Like, this is not Black history, this is your history, So those things, we got to learn how to put our energy. That's what I'm trying to do.
The audio.
Can't hear you.
Me? You can't hear me?
No, I
Hear you now.
Oh, what happened there? Okay, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, the idea is, where do I put my energy to fight injustice? How do I make an impactful change? As I said, I wrote a book, great, but where else do I go with it, right?
Yeah.
If I can give somebody a job from it, isn't that bomb?
Word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I can get more ears to hear it, all of a sudden somebody else has an idea who wants to expand on it. Isn't that bomb? Influence?
Yes.
Yeah. So, those are the avenues. I've gotten it more into real estate. I've started some real estate lending, like financial lending and whatnot. I'm building on Life is Sin right now. So more things are to come. I mean, the pandemic continued to, apply pressure in stopping things from happening. But now that we're out of that, it's just like anything else. All right, cool. That happened. Let's go. Come on. All right. Let's keep it coming, because you know what? Monkeypox and all this other stuff is trying to make its way in. We ain't got time. We don't have time to pause. Let's go.
Sorry. I didn't have a composure on that word.
First case in Toronto.
God, come on, give us a break.
Right? Like, have we not suffered enough? Shucks. But thank you. Jojo, what about you, sir?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Cinder was saying, I sent something in. We have a group chat amongst ourselves, and I remember I took a snapshot of something that was my coworker had in his stories. It was either on WhatsApp or whatever, and it went. I'm paraphrasing. It went. While every race is gearing towards world domination, Black people focus on equality and breaking racial barriers, while the world laughs at us. Right? Like I had to learn that myself. Like, yeah, I went through my stuff with the police. Primarily, like my focus was that, we try to dismantle the racial disparities in government services, such as, education, public education, policing, even the workforce and stuff like that. But it's beyond that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about equality. Equality is a myth, right? It's about equity, and we really got to start thinking about building ourselves. We can't just thinking about being equal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to really start thinking about building wealth and making our own moves so we can make them politically. You know what I'm saying? Getting those spaces and places, and not rely on some political parties just pandering to our emotions and end up lying to us and offering us empty words.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That was perfect. That was perfect. It's exactly what they need to hear.
Right. Bomb. And Shana, what are you working on other than podcast?
Oh, what sorry, I had to give a statement. What I'm working on, I'm actually, you know what? In the past couple of months, I've been in talks with two publishers. I've been considering for the past year, I'm actually going to write a children's book on Know Your Rights children's book. But I'm still going through the whole human rights thing. Like that should be.
Hurry up.
Yeah. Yo, that should be over with by the fall. But yeah, once I get that done, I'm already working on like drafting it and everything. So I'm
Nice.
a children's book. So
That's
yeah,
absolutely,
know your rights book. Not racism, but know your rights.
that's an excellent idea.
Yeah,
Make sure you do it quick, because people are
word,
gonna hear this.
word.
Right?
Yeah.
So wait, you heard it here first. So if anyone tries to use that title,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
no.
I'm not even supposed to talk about it, but
Don't worry, but we'll know
Oops.
where they got it from. Shoot.
word.
Right? But and Shayna, what about you?
So, of course, I'm continuing to work with Project X Financial, preventing financial literacy, sitting down and talking about different financial products with people, going through, like Joe said, going in the community, talking to people about products and services that we don't normally get educated about. Like, do we really understand how RESPs work? Do we understand different types of investment accounts? I think for most people, we all understand what a stock is. And I think the most exciting thing for everyone is to invest in the stock market. But is that always the wisest thing? Is that the thing that fits our risk tolerance and understanding what a risk tolerance is? So continuing my work with that. And then, of course, my podcast with my kids. And then for next January, I'm going to be doing my charity again, once again, giving back to schools back home. But this time I'm going to, instead of doing it solo like I did right now, I'm going to be bringing it out to the community, starting a GoFundMe, so I can get more school supplies to these kids so we can elevate their education as well.
Nice. Bop, bop, bop. That is amazing. See, once again, it's just giving back to the community, and that's the things that we need. I know Andre's listening and stuff, and he's always promoting giving back to the community. I feel like, with this podcast, that's how I'm able to give back with my time and sharing other people's stories. And I'm so honored that you were able to come on and just to share your story, because it needs to be told. Um, and even though it's in the newspaper with JoJo, Cinder has a book, and Shayna has a podcast with her kids, it still needs to be shown in different platforms as much as possible to be able to reach out and just let people know that with a plan and a right mindset, we can make this happen. We can get out of sticky situations. The plan and preparation. Without a plan, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard, but we're gonna have to figure a way to make it happen. And if there's anyone that wants to, contact me or Shayna to figure that out, by all means, we're here. We're here to help, and we're here to educate. So, yeah. And if anyone has any last thoughts or anything, Georgia, your statement was beautiful. But I know you have some. I know you have other nuggets under the.
It's a wrap. I'm just waiting for y'all.
Cinder, you got anything to say? Want to wrap up?
Just I love this. I love that we get on these platforms and we talk. We didn't get a lot of talking. We weren't allowed to talk when we were younger. And now we, as adults, we were still able to find our voice and share it. And the fact of the matter is, we are in position to make a difference. So get ready for the pushback.
Facts. Facts. I got my money. I got my bailouts. Oh man. All right, folks. And for everyone that's listening and watching, it was an honor for you guys to be here. And on that note, I gotta find the song. I hope I get to find it and it plays. I had some technical difficulties last time, but I think it should work now. Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna cut it off the same way that I did last time. So bear with me, guys. Bear with me. We're gonna share like so, and we're gonna go here so.
We're making music right now. You mean?
Right?
You're making beats or songs?
No, we're making music. Like we're speaking volumes, yo.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But here
Drop
it is.
some lyrics.
Word.
It should play now. How about now?
Literacy boss, flip, flaw. Anywhere, chop, flip and floss. Anywhere,
Got off fame music.
villa, flip, floss, money, literacy boss. Flip, floss, money, literacy boss. Flip, floss, money, literacy boss. Flip, flaw. Anywhere, chop, flip and floss.
Oh. Hold on.